Hi Nicholas, I do this all about FP&A series with experts in finance and FP&A, and I'm thrilled that you joined us and you took time. So before we start, I'll just give you a quick background about you, and then probably I can ask you to tell us a little bit more about your journey. I see on LinkedIn that you started your career in accounting and then you moved to audit for some time. I think you worked with PwC, and then again from audit you transitioned into a controller FP&A role. You worked across 5 different countries, 3 different continents, so I find that really very interesting. Would you help us know a little bit more about yourself in terms of the background, how you started and how you landed up today where you are?
Yeah, sure. Thank you first, and good morning, Azif. I think it's great that you organize these sessions for everybody who is interested in FP&A and finance in general, to get to know the journey of people with experience in our community of finance. So I'm Nicolas Boucher. I'm French, also born from a Belgian mother, so I have already 2 nationalities. I'm raising also kids with a German wife, so they are also in the international background. And as you said, I lived in different countries. So I was raised in France, studied in US, worked in Luxembourg for PwC, worked also in Singapore for PwC, and now I'm since 6 years in Germany working for Thales. And yeah, so I started studying actually quite general business knowledge in France, but with a focus on accounting. And then after my business school, I joined PwC because it was a way to continue growing my skills in audit, and also in an audit firm. You get a lot of different assignments, a lot of different clients. They put a program to help you grow your skills. You also learn a lot to manage teams really quickly, and you get exposed to really important clients, to the C-suite as well. So you get to speak really quickly to CFOs. So that was really great at PwC to develop myself, develop my skills. And also I got the opportunity to work in Singapore 2 years, where I learned another culture, another way of working. And when I came back to Europe, then with my wife, we had another plan and wanted to go outside of the accounting slash audit and consulting firms, to have more work-life balance to grow a family. And then I joined Thales in Germany, where first I led the finance transformation initiatives when the new CFO came. And after that, I was working the last 3 years responsible for finance and controlling for a site where we work both with France and Germany. And now since I took on a new role on one of the biggest business and transportation in Germany. And yeah, we do what we call here in Germany or France controlling, but it's internationally is actually what we do is FP&A.
Yeah.
It's just in Europe is or I would say like France, Germany, Belgium, they call that controlling, but like England, Netherlands, the more I would say like English, British countries, they call that FP&A. So at the end, when I hear what people do in FP&A is exactly what I do. So that's why I say controlling slash FP&A, depending on who I talk to.
Yes, I have experienced that as well. So a lot of companies in my country as well, in India as well, they don't call FP&A as FP&A. They call it business finance, they call it finance, business partnering, they call it by different names, but what exactly they do is very similar to what I do. So whenever I see a job description like the heading, I usually tend to not believe it, and I usually scan through the description. So turns out that probably a finance manager role would be an FP&A role eventually. A finance business partner role is an FP&A role eventually, and it has both parts. At least for mid-sized companies, it has a part of accounting. It has a flavor of controllership. Awesome. What made you? How did you decide to switch from? I have had a similar experience with audit, so my reasons are probably completely different than yours. So I would love to know what motivated you to switch from. You mentioned on about the work-life balance, but apart from that, was there any other motivation for you to switch from your audit role into controllership?
Yeah, sure. So basically, in audit, what I find great is you have the first 2 years of junior, where you really need to learn what is audit. Really need to get the technical skills, but also the soft skills to work in audit and have the working culture of working in team, communicating with the client, summarizing all of what you do in a proper documentation, and starting to get the knowledge of the business to have critical judgment on what you audit. Once you go to senior, so just after 2 years of experience, the third year, you get to already coach people. You get to be more client facing and have like more decisions in the team. You can participate in the audit strategy with your manager. If you have the chance and have smaller assignment, you can also have a role of team lead. So really quickly, you develop yourself, also your soft skills then. And I mean, if you just change industry in between, you also learn a new industry or new clients. So there is a lot to learn. And then after, so once you do your 2 or 3 years of senior role, in the last year, so the third year of senior role, you could have some manager role or being assistant manager. And that was my case in Singapore because all of the managers left. So I could take over the role as manager. And then you learn how to manage a team, how to manage an assignment, how to manage the budget that you have for clients, how to negotiate fees sometimes, and how to deal with your partner. So how you make him trust that the work that has been done is good enough, that all of the audit is compliant, and that the company's accounts are relevant and good to sign. And then once you get really officially manager, then you get like a bigger portfolio. You can also get bigger clients, and then all of that is at another scale. And also I did that back in Luxembourg. But then what I was seeing, what the senior manager and the directors were doing, it was for me less of a change in compared to the junior auditor and manager steps. So I always thought anyway that I didn't want to do my career in audit and become a partner, because that's not what I was looking for. And also I like diversity. That's also why I changed countries and a lot. And so when we decided to change, I thought, okay, it's the time maybe also to see if I could work in industry. And then when I changed country. So I went to Germany. I changed language. So from English, French to German. I changed the industry because I was focused more on insurance and financial companies. Then I went to industry / defense company. And I changed job as well. So I changed a lot of topics at one time. But I think when you feel that you're in comfort zone and you want to do something, you can change, and that's what I did. And I learned a lot first about myself, because I learned how to start new and to what I'm good at, what I need to improve. And it's, you see once you start that there is a lot to learn still in other positions, because you don't know so much in details. You don't know the ERP. So SAP was for me really new. And also there is a lot of operational processes that you don't see when you audit. And that is the stuff that you need to learn when you start a new position. But everybody who wants, or anybody who wants to move from audit or accounting to financial analysis, FP&A controlling, they should trust that their base is really strong, because what you need to be a good controller and good analyst is to have a good understanding of the figures. And that audit person or an accountant has this really strong base. And then what you need to get better at is how can you go out from the details to get more at overview. So details, if you are like an accountant. In audit, normally you have learned about materiality, so you should have already this upper level. And also how you can work on things that are more medium term and long term. Because in audit, you do something for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and then the next year you do it again. But in international multinational company or a small company, if you are in your job, you are going to see every month some of the tasks repeating, and you need to invest in understanding the task, in understanding the process, in understanding the ERP to get better at it, to get better at your job, and also to optimize it. And so that's the big difference. And if you don't do that, then you are not going to perform well. But as you have a strong knowledge, which lack in people who didn't have this experience, then you can use that to get faster understanding of the financial impacts, and then build more all of what is missing through learning from your new colleagues.
Despite being from different parts of the world, the audit program that Big Fours usually have is very similar. So I had a very similar experience with EY when I started in audit. Very surprising, despite of being in different countries, different continents, the process and the program they follow is very similar. So I did a 3 years internship, and then I what we call it as an executive at EY, and then you become an assistant manager. So it's very interesting to see, like, they have such standard career paths in Big Fours. My reason for transitioning to audit was very similar. So although I liked working with different clients in different industries, after a while you know that you like a particular industry or you like a particular product or service, and you probably want to do more of that. What I felt at that time, probably I was not right. What I felt at that time was auditors were not welcomed. They were more of forced compliance rather than adding value. But it's not true. I see a lot of my friends working in audit. They add a lot of value to their clients. So it's not true. That was my perception 8 years back. That was one of the reasons probably I decided to move. So what I used to hear back was, how can a person audit me if he doesn't know about my industry? He's here for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and he's pretending that he knows more than what I know. So that was something of a challenge while we were auditing. Like, this was way back, 7-8 years back, and I'm sure things must have changed. So yeah, a lot of common experience. Your journey actually made me go back to my time 7 years back when I was doing audit. So thank you for that. All right, so let's move on to the other part of the discussion. So I started following you I think 2 years back, more than 2 years back. I started following you. At that time you were creating content on LinkedIn. So the post that I came across was on 12 principles of FP&A, I think 10 principles of FP&A, and that was the first time I saw the swipe post or the carousel we call in content. That was my first introduction to that, and I found that very interesting. If you notice today, my content is mostly the same format that you did back 2 years back then. So that was an inspiration for me as well to become a content creator. So thank you so much for that. Now coming to the other part of our life that we do, creating content and teaching people. I see that you have a new course that is coming up, or it's already launched. So can you maybe talk about a couple of key concepts that you would like to talk about from the course?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for bringing that. And I'm glad that you're also posting, because I think the more we are posting, so the more person are posting good content, we help people, I think, and also get help, because I think on LinkedIn you find people that you cannot find next to you. And it's also how our society is evolving. If I imagine for 30 years or 40 years, when there was no internet, no email, maybe not everybody had a cell phone or a phone available to them, then you could just learn from your colleague next to you. Then if you're lucky, you work for a company who has more offices, then maybe you can see your colleagues from another city. And then more and more, we got access to internet, to web conference, and you could start learning to colleagues from other countries. But still, you're limited to the best. If you wanted to learn from the best, you were still limited from your own company or your colleagues next to you. And I think LinkedIn breaks that, because now you have access to the people, the best people in each of the topics. So if you want to learn about storytelling, if you want to learn about Power BI, if you want to learn about financial modeling, if you want to learn about cash, SAP, you can find great people on LinkedIn. And that was my first, I would say my first reason why I wanted to be more involved in LinkedIn, because I knew that each time I was posting something, first I was learning it for me, because if you want to post something, you better get it right for yourself, because you don't want to look stupid there, and you have some creativity. But actually, that's just the 10-20% of the topic, and it's the top of the iceberg, because then in the comments, you have people with 10 times more knowledge than you and more experience that are going to tell you, no, here you are missing that, or here I don't agree with you. And then the discussion you have there or offline that you can get, it's where you learn a lot. And now I would say, like, I got a lot of feedback from people following me and asking me, where can I learn what you're doing? And all of my career, I think I train and coach around 100 people in audit and now in controlling. So directly in my team, or I did also courses when I was at PwC. And I still love giving my knowledge to people, and also seeing them learn and get the aha moment where they say, okay, and that I see that they are going to use it in their day-to-day. And that's why now I decided to do this course where we have the technology to do online course, where basically it's like, if somebody will join my team tomorrow and I cannot talk to him face to face, I'm not next to him, I will say, okay, here is 8 hours of content in around 80 chapters in 5 modules. So you have 8 hours you can watch. You don't have to watch from the beginning to the end to know everything. Just, if I need to know how to do a PVM analysis. So let's say I have a price volume mix that I want to understand. Well, I'm going to look at the 5-6 chapters on that. And let's say in 1 week, you have a presentation to do to the management. Well, look at the part where I'm explaining how to do a financial presentation. And so the course is based on how I could help people outside of my team and here on LinkedIn following me And also, if imagining that I wanted to learn or to teach my knowledge to the younger me, so for 15 years ago, what I will tell him. So everything that I learned already, like it's in this course. And I also myself took some courses, and I think sometimes we go in a course and we just drop after 15 minutes, 30 minutes because we don't have time, and the reality comes back and other priorities come back. And I don't want that with my course. I want that people don't have pressure to follow everything or to watch everything, but that they just use what they need first. And then if they can learn even something else more, then it's great. And so the way the course is structured, you have first the module on analysis, where you learn the PVM method, where you learn vertical analysis, horizontal analysis, sensitivity analysis, Pareto analysis, also project analysis, if you have project variance, if you have a production variance, so standard costing analysis, also headcount and overhead. So how do you analyze that? So this analysis part is quite big, but I cut it in really small chapter that you can watch in 5 or 10 minutes if you don't really have a lot of time. And then the second module is on budgeting and forecasting. So how to run a budget, which method can you use? Rolling forecast, traditional for sales, because sales is one of the biggest part of the budget. You have a lot of techniques that you can use that are more data-driven or more traditional or a mix of it. So this is what is in the budget part. And also, how do you manage a budget? Because finance is responsible of budget. And then on the third part is what we do a lot, but that we don't learn at school, or there is no real course for that, is how do you do optimized reporting? And what I do often in my job is when I take over a position, I take what is existing, but I always try to optimize it. And so I show you what is important to report, how to report it, but also how to optimize it. Because a lot of the work that is done in reporting can be avoided or can be improved. And so there I show that. And also I explain my tips on that. Then on the fourth module is on business partnering. So business partnering is really there on the soft skills, how to manage your business partner, or how to manage the demand, how to understand also your operational business partner, how to give them value, how to manage demand, how to say no. And a lot of the, I would say, like the action that you can have in your company, I already explained a lot in the analysis, in the budget. I already give practical advice, which are already part of business partnering, but so the course itself has a lot of business partnering also on the content. And then the last part is on storytelling. So how do you run financial presentation? How do you make the best chart? And how in a presentation you choose how to show things? And also what I think is what is happening around a presentation, because you need to talk to people before, after, you need to action activate all of the actions that you identified. And also everything about what we don't do enough is the charts. So I have a 10-step process how to make a chart from a chart which is basic in Excel to something really optimized and looks great, and it fits a storytelling model. So that's what is in the course. It's on-demand video, self-paced, so everybody can do it as in his own pace. You get also the PDF if you just want to read and you don't have time to watch all of the videos. You get all of the Excel templates that I use in the course. Also give them for free inside. And then you have all of that for lifetime access. So also in 5 years, if you get a new job and you want to refresh, you can just watch it again.
Awesome. So I think the course covers most of the things that you would need to be a good finance and FP&A person at your role. Mentioned it covers budgeting, forecasting, it covers management reporting, it covers doing presentations and storytelling. So I could not think of any topic that you've missed. And you also mentioned that you wanted to do a 2 to 3 hour duration course, and it turned out to be actually 8 hours long.
Yeah, like I thought at the beginning, okay, let's do 2 or 3 hours, really short. But there's topics that you cannot just if you want to give the methodology, so theory, 2 or 3 hours is okay. But a lot of it is also doing practical examples and also saying, okay, how can you implement that in your organization? And so that's why it's became bigger than what I thought. Is for each topic, you have most of the time a video on the theory, then you have a part on example, and then you have a last part which is more on how can you implement that in your company. And that's also what is the way I did it. Is if somebody knows the theory but just want to know how can I apply it in real life, then you just have to watch this video. He doesn't need to hear the theory if it's for something for him that is already acquired in his mind. And yeah, and for now, I got great feedback for all of the students who bought it. And one guy said that he had an interview 2 weeks ago, and he bought the course after the interview, and he said that everything that is in the course is something that he would have needed in the interview. And so somebody else said that he started a new job and that it helped him a lot in his new job. Also, people transitioning is quite helpful for them. And I have some people who bought it also as 2 or 3 people bought it in a team together, and they are growing themselves with this course. So I'm really happy that it helps people. And for me, it was also a great learning experience because making a course is another type of job, and it was one can always learn, and that was great.
So a couple of things I personally liked about the course is one, you can jump onto any section that you want instantly. You did not go through all the sections in order, so you can self-serve whatever you need at any point of time. And also the practical implementation part that you mentioned, you're giving away templates and Excel formats that people can pick up and use it for their companies. So I think I really like those two things about the course. I see the contents and it's exhaustive. I am writing a book on FP&A, and probably I cannot think of any other topics.
So if
You've covered all of
I
them.
think you wanted to know how can we get the course.
Mhm.
So the course, basically, if somebody is on my LinkedIn page, there is a link directly under my face on the LinkedIn page. If not, just send me a message or ask Asif, and yeah, the course you can buy it from there.
And also we'll have a link wherever we post this video, or wherever on YouTube or on LinkedIn. There will be a link in the comment so you can access it. Awesome. So it was great having you, Nicholas. Thank you for taking out the time, and thank you for creating the course. I think it will help a lot of people, especially people who want to do their career in finance. They're just starting out. This will be like they'll get to learn from the experience of a person who's like been there for 10 years, just spending 8 or 10 hours. So I think this is really great. thank you for joining me today, and I hope we
Yeah,
do this
great.
again
And
sometime
for
soon.
everybody watching it, if you have any questions, just contact me, contact Asif. I think if you are watching that, it means that you are already in the top 5 or top 10% of people who want to grow in their career and who are focused on learning and also exchanging. So if you are here, know that you are on top of the of the list, and you do great. And continue that like that, and contact us if you want to learn more.
Please do like this video and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you are looking to start your career into FP&A, then be sure to subscribe this channel and keep tuning in for more videos like these.